Let me ask you something real. Have you ever walked into someone's life and left, but somehow they still talk about you, still dream about you, still feel you? Let me tell you a truth that most people don't want to admit. If you're not living in her mind, if she's not replaying moments with you in her silence, if she's not checking her phone hoping it's you, then you haven't touched her soul yet. And I'm not here to teach you how to fake it. I'm here to show you how to become the man she can't stop thinking about, not because of manipulation, but because of transformation. So stay with me, because by the end of this speech, you'll know exactly how to imprint yourself on her heart and stay there, 24/7. Don't chase her. Don't pressure her. Be so grounded in yourself that your energy speaks louder than your words. When you walk into a room, own it. When you speak, say less, but mean more. You don't need to force a woman to think about you. You just need to make her feel safe, seen, and respected. That kind of presence is rare. And the rare things? They stay on our minds the longest. Here's the golden rule. She will forget what you bought her. She might forget your texts, but she will never forget how you made her feel in a moment of vulnerability. Did you uplift her? Did you listen when her soul was tired? If you can be her calm in chaos, her peace in a storm, then you're not just in her mind, you're in her heart. And that's permanent real estate. Be intentional, but keep a little mystery. Don't show her everything in one moment. Let her discover you like a story, chapter by chapter, word by word. Because curiosity is powerful. When you leave her wondering what's next, she'll keep replaying the last thing you said, looking for clues. She'll think of you, not just because you're distant, but because you're deep. Anyone can talk, but few can connect. Ask her things no one asks. Listen to her dreams, not just her problems. Speak life into her, not just flattery. You want to be unforgettable? Be the man who doesn't talk about the weather. Talk about destiny. Make her feel seen in ways no mirror ever could. A man who knows who he is, and who walks with vision and integrity, will always occupy space in a woman's thoughts. Because confidence is magnetic. Not arrogance, not ego, but the kind of confidence that says, I know where I'm going, and I'd love for you to walk beside me. That voice echoes in her mind, day and night. Send the message she didn't expect. Compliment something no one notices. Remember her favorite quote, her dream city, the song that gets her emotional. When you do what most men don't even think of, you create a memory that replays in her mind like a favorite song, over and over again. Let me tell you this. From one soul to another, you don't need to buy her mind or beg for her attention. You need to become the man whose presence is peace, whose words are impact, and whose love feels like home. When you do that, she won't just think about you, she'll never stop. So ask yourself, are you ready to become unforgettable? Because she's waiting, and you're more than capable.
Don't chase her. Don't pressure her. The moment you feel like you have to convince someone of your value, you've already forgotten it yourself. Presence is not about being loud or constantly available. It's about creating a powerful impact when you are around and leaving behind an energy that lingers even when you're not. Women are not drawn to men who seek validation. They're drawn to men who are rooted, men who walk into a room with quiet confidence, who speak with intention, who listen with focus. When your presence brings peace instead of pressure, calm instead of chaos, you become memorable. You become the exception in a world full of noise. It's not about texting her every hour or showing up uninvited. It's about showing up in her mind because you gave her a moment that made her feel safe, respected, and seen. That kind of presence can't be faked, and it certainly can't be forced. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you bring to the table. A man with presence doesn't beg for attention. He commands it just by being fully himself. She will forget the words you used. She might even forget what you looked like in a certain moment. But she will never, ever forget how you made her feel. That's the secret to staying in her mind 24/7, leaving an emotional imprint that time cannot erase. Women are emotional beings, not in a weak way, but in a deeply intuitive, powerful way. If you make her feel alive, heard, beautiful, safe, or inspired, you're not just a memory, you're a sensation. When you laugh with her in a way that lightens her soul, when you listen without fixing, when you recognize her value without needing something in return, you create a moment. And moments matter more than moves. It's not about delivering a perfect line or playing a clever game. It's about being present in the moment and allowing your authenticity to connect with her heart. People don't stay up at night thinking about logic. They stay up remembering feelings. That look you gave her when she was doubting herself. That pause before you said something real. That silence that felt like safety. Emotional memory is powerful. If you touch her heart, her mind will always follow. Mystery is not about being confusing or playing hard to get. It's about leaving just enough unsaid to keep her curious, engaged, and intrigued. When you give everything away too soon, every detail, every thought, every feeling, you remove the sense of discovery. And what a woman loves more than anything is a man she can keep discovering. A man with depth, layers, purpose. You become unforgettable when she realizes there's always more to learn about you. Don't always be instantly available. Don't always explain every move. Let her wonder what you're working on, what you're thinking about, where your mind is when you're silent. That kind of mystery doesn't push her away. It draws her in. It creates a mental loop that keeps replaying, trying to solve the riddle of you. But this only works when your mystery has meaning. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being purpose-driven, self-contained, and selective with your energy. When you live with intention, when your time feels sacred, she pays more attention. Curiosity is addictive. When she's left wanting to know more, not because you're hiding, but because you're whole, you stay in her mind long after you leave the room. Most people have conversations just to fill silence, but the ones she remembers are the ones that move her. If you want to live in her mind 24/7, you need to speak to more than just her ears. You need to speak to her soul. Ask her questions that challenge her to reflect. Don't just ask what she does. Ask why she does it. Don't just compliment her beauty. Acknowledge her resilience, her vision, her values. Talk about things that matter. Dreams, fears, growth, purpose. Be the man who's not afraid of depth, who's willing to sit in silence just to understand her better. Women crave connection, not just conversation. And when she feels emotionally stimulated by your words, she'll start replaying them in her mind. She'll hear your voice when something reminds her of what you said. She'll associate you with inspiration, not just attention. That's powerful. That's lasting. Because while others are talking about the latest trend or sending empty texts, you're planting words in her heart that grow over time. And every time she replays your words, you become more than a man. You become a memory that speaks to her even when you're not around. There's something magnetic about a man who knows exactly who he is. A man who doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need to impress, and doesn't shrink himself to fit in. That kind of self-possession is rare and unforgettable. When you live with purpose, when your life has direction and your choices are intentional, people notice. She notices. Confidence isn't about loudness or dominance. It's about being rooted in your identity. It's the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you handle setbacks without losing your peace. Women remember men who move with clarity. Men who don't chase validation because they already carry internal value. You become memorable when you're building something bigger than yourself. A vision, a mission, a future. Because that kind of man isn't just interesting, he's inspiring. And inspiration leaves a deeper mark than infatuation ever could. She'll think about you when she's making decisions, when she's dreaming of what's next, when she's reflecting on who added value to her life. Your presence won't fade because you weren't just a moment. You were momentum. You reminded her of what's possible. And that kind of energy doesn't just visit her mind, it lives there. It's not the grand gestures that stay with her. It's the thoughtful ones, the unexpected kindness, the small, meaningful moments that show her you were paying attention when no one else was. When you remember the little details, her favorite quote, the book she mentioned once, the way she lights up when she talks about something she loves, you become more than just a person in her life. You become the proof that someone saw her clearly. And when you act on that knowledge with sincerity, without an agenda, it hits different. Maybe it's sending her a message just to say you're proud of her. Maybe it's encouraging her quietly when she doubts herself. Maybe it's being present when she didn't even know she needed someone. Those things, they stay. Because while others might be loud and flashy, your subtle consistency will echo in her heart. You won't just be another message in her inbox. You'll be the one she keeps rereading, the one that brings a smile out of nowhere. She'll remember the way you made her feel valued without expectation. And even when life gets noisy, that soft, unexpected kindness will whisper your name in her mind again and again. So hear me when I say this. Staying in her mind 24/7 isn't about trying harder. It's about becoming undeniable. It's not in the games you play or the things you pretend to be. It's in your presence, your depth, your kindness, and the way you make her feel when you're around. And even more when you're not. If you can lead with purpose, speak with intention, live with integrity, and love without ego, you won't have to wonder if she's thinking about you. She will. You'll echo in her quiet moments, live in her favorite memories, and show up in her future dreams. Not because you forced your way in, but because you earned your place there. So don't chase her mind. Become the man it can't let go of.